Martha slowly held out the documents. Ethan reached for them carefully, almost afraid she would pull them away at the last second. But she didn't. Even after everything he had done to her, she still chose kindness. That hurt him more than anger ever could. Rain poured heavily around the small bus stop while Ethan stared at the documents in his hands. Millions of dollars, years of negotiations, his entire company, all saved by the woman he had humiliated publicly less than an hour ago. Ethan swallowed hard. "I don't deserve your kindness." Martha gave a weak smile. "Maybe not today." Those words hit him deeply. Daniel stood quietly nearby, watching the billionaire completely differently now, because Ethan Whitmore looked broken, not angry, not powerful. Broken. Ethan looked up slowly. "My mother really said that about me." Martha nodded gently. "She loved you very much." Ethan's eyes became glossy again. "She used to wait for you in this building sometimes after work," Martha continued softly. "Even when you became rich, she still worried that you were lonely." Ethan looked away immediately. Because she was right. For years he had surrounded himself with expensive suits, luxury cars, and powerful investors. But somehow, he had never felt more alone. Martha carefully adjusted her old scarf while the cold wind blew through the bus stop. "You should go back to your meeting," she said quietly. But Ethan didn't move. Instead, he asked something unexpected. "Why didn't you hate me?" Martha looked surprised. "After the way I treated you today," Ethan continued, his voice lower now. "Why didn't you just leave with the documents?" Martha looked down thoughtfully before answering. "Because pain should not turn us into cruel people." Silence filled the space between them. Even Daniel looked emotional hearing those words. Martha slowly picked up her old bag. "I'm tired, Ethan." This time she didn't call him Mr. Whitmore, and somehow that mattered more to him than anything else. "Let me drive you home," Ethan said quickly. "There's no need. Please." Martha studied his face for a moment, then finally nodded. The car ride was painfully quiet. Ethan kept replaying the scene from the lobby over and over inside his head. The fear in Martha's eyes, the silence from the employees, his own cruel voice echoing through the building. For the first time in years, he hated the person he had become. When they finally arrived at Martha's small apartment building, Ethan stepped out with her. Daniel remained respectfully inside the car. Martha turned toward Ethan slowly. "You still have time to change." Ethan frowned slightly. "What do you mean?" "Your mother used to say that success tests people more than failure." Those words stayed inside Ethan's mind long after Martha disappeared into the building. That night, the billionaire couldn't sleep. He sat alone inside his massive penthouse, staring at the city lights through the glass windows. Normally, he would be celebrating after securing such an important deal. But instead, all he could think about was Martha. The old cleaner knew his favorite coffee, his birthday habits, his grief, his pain, and he didn't even know her last name. That realization crushed him. The next morning, employees arrived at Whitmore Corporation, expecting another normal workday. But the second they entered the lobby, they froze, because Ethan Whitmore himself was mopping the marble floor in complete silence. No expensive jacket, no bodyguards, no assistant, just Ethan, holding a mop beside Martha's old cleaning cart. Employees whispered in confusion. "Is that really him? What's going on? Why is the boss cleaning?" The manager looked completely stunned. Then the glass doors slowly opened. Martha stepped inside cautiously. She looked nervous. After yesterday's humiliation, she clearly didn't know what to expect. The moment Ethan saw her, he immediately stopped mopping. Every employee turned toward her. The entire lobby became silent. Then Ethan did something nobody in the company had ever seen before. He walked directly toward Martha and lowered his head. "I'm sorry." Gasps spread quietly across the lobby. Ethan Whitmore never apologized to anyone. But now his voice carried real regret. "I humiliated you in front of everyone," he continued, "and I treated you like you didn't matter." Martha's eyes watered slightly. Ethan turned slowly toward the employees nearby. "But she mattered more than all of us yesterday." Several workers lowered their heads in shame, because deep down, they knew they had failed her too. Nobody defended Martha, nobody spoke. Fear had kept them silent. Ethan reached into his pocket carefully and removed a new company badge. Martha looked confused. Then her eyes widened. The badge no longer said cleaner. Instead it read, Executive Hospitality Director. Martha stared at him speechlessly. Mr. Whitmore. No, Ethan interrupted gently. Please, call me Ethan. The old woman's hands trembled holding the badge. You're giving me this? Ethan nodded. You spent 12 years taking care of everyone in this building. His voice softened. Even me. Tears slowly filled Martha's eyes. Daniel smiled proudly from the back of the lobby. Then suddenly, someone started clapping. A woman from accounting. Another employee joined. Then another. Within seconds, the entire lobby erupted into applause. Some employees even wiped tears from their eyes. For the first time in years, Martha wasn't invisible anymore. One worker stepped forward carefully. I'm sorry for staying silent yesterday. Another employee nodded. You deserved respect all along. Soon people surrounded Martha warmly. Employees who once ignored her now greeted her kindly. One man even carried her bag upstairs for her, and Martha smiled through tears. Not because of the promotion, not because of the applause, but because people were finally seeing each other as human beings. Weeks later, the atmosphere inside Whitmore Corporation completely changed. Employees smiled more. Managers treated workers better. Even the security guards and cleaners were greeted every morning with respect. And every single day, Ethan personally greeted Martha when he arrived. Good morning, Martha. Good morning, Ethan. The cold billionaire everyone once feared slowly changed too. He listened more, shouted less, and for the first time in years, people no longer feared entering his office. One afternoon, Daniel entered Ethan's office carrying some files, but he stopped suddenly after noticing something on the billionaire's desk. A small chocolate.
She still leaves one every birthday.
Smiled instantly.
Some people never stop
She
caring.
still
Ethan
leaves
finally
one every
understood
birthday?
something money could never
Ethan
buy.
looked down at the
Kindness,
chocolate quietly.
respect,
Then he smiled softly. Yeah, Daniel laughed. Some people never stop caring. Ethan looked through the office window toward Martha downstairs, speaking happily with employees. And deep inside, he finally understood something money could never buy. Kindness, respect, humanity. The very things Martha had carried inside her all along. If you enjoyed this emotional story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. Respect everyone. Because sometimes the people we overlook the most,
No matter how
are
dark
the
the
ones
night,
quietly
your
holding
story,
the world
your
together.
story is not over yet.